Okay, thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me once again. I'm your host, Derek Lane. Another edition of the Fast Lane Podcast for Success. Thought we'd do something a little different on this episode. I want to kind of go over a story, a true story of an event that happened to me, and hopefully there is a message in this story somewhere that is not only entertaining but purposeful. So with that, it goes like this. My wife and I took a day trip. We drove to some rural areas to visit a winery and cafe. I'd say about 100 miles or so south of the largest metropolitan area around us. And so we were out and enjoying ourselves, and the day was beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. And we made it to the destination. The place was picturesque, and the food was wonderful for lunch, and enjoyed some wine, and just all around a really good, relaxing environment. So anyway, we decided that when we were finished there, we would hit a couple other spots. So in traveling kind of back, toward I guess home, we were on some back roads, some kind of twisty, old, windy back roads. And traveling along, we come to a stop. Traffic was backed up quite a ways. I could see traffic in front of me for quite a ways. Not very many vehicles coming the other way, just one occasionally. And I'm thinking, wow, there must have been an accident. But I didn't hear any sirens, no lights, nothing. And stuck on this rural highway for right at an hour before we could get to a point where there was a sign, and the sign said, "Caution ahead, turkey supper." I'm expecting something tragic, and yet this traffic holdup is because of a turkey supper at a local church where people were flocking to. And I can't believe it. I'm like, wow. I've been in traffic for an hour because people are going to have turkey dinner. Okay, well, so we get to the point where we can proceed through the turn-in, and finally, thank goodness, we can move forward and go. A strange thing occurred as I'm going forward and getting back to highway speeds. I noticed there's a thumping. It doesn't feel right. Something's weird. And so I pull over to this little gravel parking lot and got out and took a look, and sure enough, I had a flat tire. Wow. Okay. Now, this flat tire was, kind of out of the blue. I always try to make sure that, I've got maintenance procedures done on my vehicle, especially, going on a trip, or, it's a short trip, but still. And, but we pull up in front of this little rural facility, and some type of tavern, and there was 6 or 7 guys sitting out front, enjoying beers and adult beverages. And I'm like, oh, great, here we are. And so, I ask if it's okay that if I pull in and attempt to change my tire and put a spare on. And, I was met with, sure, yeah, go right ahead. And, okay, great. Well, then they walked over to my car and They're like, oh, okay, I don't see too many of these around here. So, well, it is what it is. And then they start to grab tools and a jack, and they start changing my tire. And I'm like, you don't have to do this. I can do this. Oh, it's nonsense. We'll get it for you. We know what we're doing. Wow. Okay, well, that's definitely hospitality. So they changed it out, put a spare on, and I thanked them, offered them some money for their troubles, and they refused it, wouldn't take it. As a matter of fact, they said that we could stay and have some type of drink with them. I was like, well, I'm kind of in a hurry, and my wife said, no, maybe we should. I said, okay, understanding hospitality, and maybe it's insulting to not. And they actually wanted to buy our drink, and it was like, no. I insisted that I buy, and then I buy everybody a round of whatever they're drinking. So we did that and stayed just for a few more minutes, and then it was time. So it's late now, a lot later than we anticipated, and we wanted to just go ahead and cut our tourist attractions short and just go ahead and head back home. Being that you're on one of those space-saving tires. So we make it home, and then I pull in, and I notice that this space-saver tire is about half flat. I'm like, okay, well, he got us home. That's the main thing. So I said, well, I will deal with this the next day, as it's late. So the next morning, my space-saver tire was completely flat, and the valve stem was cracked, and it wouldn't hold air at all, no matter what I did. And so I got the regular tire out of the trunk and looked at it, and the tire had come apart. No hole, no nail. One of the belts in the tire had come apart, and so it wouldn't hold air, and just very dangerous. And it got me to thinking, and that's the reason that I'm relaying this to you. It got me to thinking that had there not been a turkey supper to slow us down or even stop us, this tire would have blown out. It would have been disastrous. We could have been injured. The spare tire wouldn't hold air, but it did long enough to get us home. So I guess the message is, if you don't think that there's a greater good and a greater force that's watching over you, if you don't think you have a purpose, it's the little things that you have to stop and think about. At the time, I was kind of like, I cannot believe that our perfect little day trip here has turned into a nightmare. But all of that happened for a reason. Every bit of that happened for a reason, to keep us safe. I truly believe it. And so I implore you, when you're having troubles, when you're having things that aren't going your way, maybe stop and think, why? Why is this not going my way? Is it to keep me from having a bigger issue? One that I can't recover from? Possibly. And yes, things happen. They just happen. But I do believe that there are greater powers, if you will, things of this universe that are here to help us along the way. That's just me. So I didn't mean to drag out the story so long, but I wanted to tell the story just so you could get an understanding of what it meant to me, and the perspective of, again, don't take everything as total failures and setbacks. Take them as opportunities and ways to be grateful for what you have, grateful for the opportunity to move forward in a positive way. Without that turkey supper, it would have been bad. So anyway, thanks again for listening to the Fastlane podcast. This is a midweek, just a short story. I just wanted to tell it. We'll be back at the first of the week with kind of a normal, structured lesson of pursuing our passions and pursuing our success path. So until then, have a wonderful, awesome, great day, week. And if you have questions or you want to ask me about this story in depth, feel free to Derek at FastlanePodcast.com, Derek at FastlanePodcast.com. You can send me an email and I'll reply to it. To the folks that sent me emails for the past week, I hope that everything that I think I got back with almost everyone, so I appreciate it very much. Share this with people that you know, people that you think that will benefit. And as always, we appreciate your listenership and have a great and wonderful